Good evening. I have the pleasure of welcoming everybody to the Heart House. Welcome board members, nominees, recipients of this year's 8th Annual Inspire Awards. We gather here this evening to acknowledge the Inspire Awards for their dedication to the LGBTQ communities of all diversities. First off, I'd like to acknowledge, as we gather here on Turtle Island, the traditional territories of the Mississauga New Credit First Nation, the Noni-Haudenosaunee and the Wendat and the Anishinaabe. I ask the strength the Creator gave me difficulties to make me strong. I ask for wisdom, and the Creator gave me problems to solve. I ask for prosperity, and the Creator gave me my brain and my strength to work. I ask for courage, and the Creator gave me danger to overcome. I ask for love, and the Creator gave me troubled people to help. I ask for favors, and the Creator gave me opportunities. The Creator loves me so much that He gave me nothing I wanted. My Creator loves me so much, He gave me everything I needed to be quench.
And now we welcome to the stage, Aqua.
Hi everybody, Indike, welcome. Nebi Wawaskane Adishnakas Mishikidodam. See some familiar faces from a couple years ago. I'm so grateful to be here, so honored. I'm an Anishinaabe Kwe. I'm an Indigenous woman of Ojibwe, French, and Scottish ancestry. I am two-spirit, and so in my culture, in my community, what that means is I'm in balance of my feminine and masculine energy, and I honor both. And my beliefs for the Creator are both, and that exists in all of us. And we, sitting here today, standing here today, we are creators. We all have that inside us. So I want to share a song with you that I wrote, and it's a new song. And so it's kind of fun, it's a little sexy, I'm not gonna lie. And hopefully it makes you feel good. Because why I make music, why I teach in the community, is just to feel good. Simply that, miigwech. Also sing with me if you want. Sometimes I need a little chocolate for my soul. Sometimes I need a caramel to slow my roll. Sometimes I eat a whole bag of toffee, yeah. 'Cause I'm so sweet, 'cause I'm so sweet, 'cause I'm so sweet. I make you say hey, yeah. Come on, say hey, yeah. You wanna say hey, everybody, yeah. I wanna hear you, yeah, yeah. I wanna feel you, yeah, yeah. A little louder, yeah, yeah. A little harder, yeah, yeah. Come on, yeah, yeah. Alright, yeah, yeah. One more time, yeah, yeah.
Thank you to Spirit Elder Maybell King Reynolds and Aqua for this beautiful opening to the 2018 Inspire Awards. Now, honored guests, please welcome our hosts for the evening, Deb Pierce and Andrew Campbell.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you very much for opening the evening, both of those acts. Thank you very much. It's hot. It's always hot. It's really hot. That hasn't changed in years. It's really... How old is this building? No air conditioning. What the... I'm not gonna. Okay, so I am Deb Pierce.
Andrew Campbell.
Still Andrew Campbell. Can you hear that? Just by applause, who's been here to the Inspire Awards before? Virgins? No, like virgins? Okay, virgins to the Inspire Awards. Welcome. It is a wonderful evening. So I'm going to welcome you to the 8th Annual Awards Celebration. Inspire Awards celebrates accomplishments by individuals, youth, community organizations, and businesses in the LGBTQ community. The awards organization is a collective of community people and organizations coming together to inspire and honor those who do good work in our community.
And every year, the work of the award expands and broadens in its scope with the aim to bring community together with activism, good deeds, joy, and celebrations.
Okay, to give the annual address on behalf of the Board of Directors, it is time to welcome my good friend, the founder and president of Inspire Awards, Antoine El-Hashim.
Good evening, folks, and thank you for being here. Celebrating with us inspiration in our LGBTQ community at our 8th annual Inspire Awards. Hope your evening is off to a really great start, but we're just starting, so get ready for some very inspiring moments coming up. We work hard at the Inspire Awards to keep our eyes, ears, and hearts open as to make sure that no one is left behind in our celebration of our community and our allies. I remember in 2013 when our international icon recipient and human rights hero Stuart Mill, nephew of Harvey Mill, one of my all-time personal heroes, was here at Hart House, and him and I were standing at the corner there by the garden outside, and he looks outside and says, "This is a beautiful picture that you guys have here in the community in Toronto." And I said, "What picture is that?" And he says, "Well, I look at the crowd at your Toronto community, and I see young and old, I see people dressed in drag, I see people dressed in leather, I see all sorts of ages." And if Harvey was standing here, he would say, "This is how it needs to be. If we fight for human rights, no one should ever be left behind. It's either we all fall or we all rise together." That to me personally, wise man. That, to me personally, was a profound moment, a reminder. We can never, ever, ever leave anyone behind. We need to fight for our newcomers, for our youth, for our trans family, for women, for people of color, myself included, I'm Arabic, for our marginalized, for those in our community living with HIV, those living on the streets, those living in poverty, and everyone else who needs us to stand by them. We have done and won a lot, but we have not done all we can do if we are sitting back enjoying our freedoms while a group or even one single person feels left behind, unwelcome, unequal. If we have a good life, if we feel welcome and accepted, it's a beautiful feeling. And it is our birthright. But let's remember, not everyone feels that way. Sadly, not everyone trusts they have a place at the table. Maybe we don't get it. Maybe we don't understand why they feel that way. But all what should matter is that it's not a nice feeling to have. So maybe we can stand by them, or at least just simply listen and hear them out, and show them that we want them to have the same feeling that we have, and we support them in that. Well, the good news is those who we celebrate tonight, each year and celebrating tonight, do a lot of that work, fighting for everyone, bringing people together, taking from their time and lives to do something for others. Let's all get encouraged by them, let's get inspired by them, and let's do our little part by taking the time to thank them. That's what we'll be doing shortly. But first I wanted to mention that the recipients of tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award and our International Icon Award will be receiving a book called Quarenta and Waiting. While we can't give her an award because she is the chair of our subcommittee for the Walk and Monument of Heroes and the engineer of the project, the curator of this special book is a personal hero of mine and a huge inspiration to me personally. Joey Lamar was a nominee in the business category, the first year of the award. She loved what we do so much, she applied to be on the awards team and served on our board of directors and as a board member and then vice president for a few years. She is also the author of a number of best-selling queer novels, which brings us back to the book I mentioned. When the tragedy struck in Pulse nightclub in Orlando, she was quick to get 49 creative people from Canada, USA, and I believe Mexico, as well, to come together to create a book to remember the 49 victims of Pulse. That is a huge undertaking if you ever put a project like that together, and I watched how much you had to work with it. With the full proceeds, nothing to benefit from, except the full proceeds being donated to Pride School Atlanta and Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. So I just thought maybe we can all give her a round of applause. Chloe? We have so much inspiring people and work to get to celebrating here. Are we ready to be inspired? Are we ready to be inspired? Let's get to it. Thank you. Thank you.
So much for those rare, wonderful, inspiring words. We'll move right along, and at this time we'd like to welcome now to the stage a champion of the Inspire Awards since day one, and a community hero in our own right, and that's City Councilor Christine Wong-Tam. Put your hands together.
He's really tall. Thank you very much, Andrew, and thank you, Deb, and thank you very much for bringing us together once again. Antoine, where are you? Right there. To you and your board of directors and to the incredible volunteers in the Inspire Awards, thank you so much for all that you do day in and day out, and I know that you don't get thanked enough, so I want to ask everyone to give you a big round of applause. So the Inspire Award is 8 years old, and I remember very early on when Antoine said to me, I have this idea. And I think that our community needs to be celebrated and our stories need to be told. And, you know, it started off as a conversation, I'd say, and an idea. And I think he is so infectious in the way he shares this positivity and tells everyone that it is possible. And the art of the possible is exactly what the Inspire Awards does, and which is why it's so thrilling when we were able to list the nominees and announce them at City Hall earlier this month. And it was such a thrill and honor to do that, to have queers, talented, accomplished queers come into City Hall and say, hey, we're taking over. And we want you to know what we did during this time to be recognized in such a way. So thank you very much for those nominees, because I know every single one of you have given the community your very best. Selfless hours, your community, we thank you. Your partners who had to stay at home while you went off to do this extraordinary work, I'm sure they also thank you. And tonight, let's thank them as well. The partners and the families and the communities that help our nominees to do the work that they do on behalf of our community. So thank you. And finally, I just will leave with this particular note. This has been a very challenging year, I think, for those who have been following just the incredible stories that have come forward. And I know that this has hit every single person in a very difficult way. We as a community are able to hold space for the many different types of mourning. And to me, what matters is that we allow each other to do that. And there is no right or wrong way. Every single gesture is important. And we will take the time to heal. We'll take the time to reflect and grow strong. We have a very important month ahead of us. Pride Month is coming. And I promise now I will get off the stage. But one last thing. Part of the cornerstone of the work of the Inspire Awards has been asking for a space, some small reflective space, and civic space, park space, streets, somewhere, where we can actually build a monument and a walk of heroes. And for 8 years, I know that there's been active lobbying and ongoing discussions with the city, and I know that there has been some progress made. And I'm happy to say that we will be working with the the Inspire Award with this incredible community to make sure that there is space at Norman Jewison Park to ensure that that happens when the renovations take place. So when we reveal, and it will be revealed, is that there will be a permanent civic space in the city of Toronto to make sure that the names of the award winners for 8 years past and the 8 years more to come will be inscribed and they will be honored in the way that they should be honored. So thank you.
Okay, so let's get this party started. We're going to be celebrating some very inspiring individuals, youth, businesses, and community organizations here tonight. So to get things rolling, please welcome to the stage co-chairs of the Nominations and Procedures Committee, the people you should have been Patricia Tucci and Coronas Salim.
At Inspire Awards, we celebrate everyone, so we're not fans of award winners. We have nominees and we have recipients. And everyone wins when people work hard, volunteer time, and lead by example. Tonight, we celebrate all the great work done by everyone who will join us on stage throughout the presentation. Inspire Awards receives nominations from the public through forms available on our website. The Lifetime Achievement Awards, the International Icon Award, the Lux Award for the Arts, and the Charles Roy Award for Activism with HIV/AIDS were voted on by the Board of Directors under the supervision of our Nominations and Procedures back in February.
The other categories are person, youth, business, and community organization. They are voted on by a jury panel comprised of the award board of directors, community partners of the awards, and members of our LGBTQ community. Earlier this week, this jury panel met and voted with a secret ballot under the supervision of our Nominations and Procedures Committee. The results were tallied by only myself and my co-chair, Patricia, and the names of the recipients were locked in this briefcase. But the key is placed in the hold of the award's president, and the briefcase kept with me personally. Now, to open it, we ask Antoine to join us on stage again.
Wonderful. All right, so we have some secret ballots up there and all that good stuff. So let's get ready for the event. And I just want to inform everyone that all the information about all our honorees, they're on the website for this year and the past 7 years. They're on the website at www.inspireawards.ca. Now, it's time to start the first category, Inspiring Community Organization of the Year. Let's welcome from Inspire Awards Board of Directors, Chicha Albino.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. The 2018 recipient of the category, this category, will receive, along with the trophy, shall I open it? Yeah. Okay, so along with the trophy, 2 quarter-page ad spaces from the award sponsor, Pink Play Mags. To explain the trophies of the Inspire Awards, they represent a flame. I'll show it to you again. They represent a flame, the flame that burns in our hearts as a community and our allies to be the best that we can be. Let's check out the nominees.
Nominated for Inspiring Community Organization of the Year.
First, we have Rainbow Railroad. Rainbow Railroad is an international-based in Toronto organization that helps persecuted LGBTQI individuals get to safety.
Alliance for South Asian AIDS Prevention, ASAAP, provides HIV/AIDS, sexual health, and support for South Asian and Middle Eastern communities in the GTA. YMCA's Front House is a place where people can feel safer and be their authentic self, providing a transitional housing program for youth. Two-Spirited People of the First Nations provide services for Indigenous two-spirited people living with or at risk for HIV and related co-infections.
And finally, Red Dress Productions works with and in communities on community-engaged public artworks.
Rainbow Railroad. Alliance for South Asian AIDS Prevention. YMCA Straw House. Two-Spirited Nation, people of the First Nations, and Red Dress Productions. Okay, so this is our nominations, and the envelope, please. I think this is a great year, right? The envelope, please. I don't even know who this is. It's all going to be a surprise to all of us. And the recipient, so congratulations, Rainbow Railroad.
Feels like a cross-section between the Oscars and Miss Universe. This is really cool. Forgive me, I'm a bit. First, wow, what an incredible work. We all do that. Whether it's the Homage Mural Project in the village, or work at Squat House providing shelter for youth, to the amazing work you've been doing in recent weeks and months to address the horrific injustice to brown people in the village, to safe space for Native folks. I just am inspired by all the work you guys do. So one more round of applause to everyone. So I love that I literally just arrived from Cairo, where I was interviewing about 13 individuals who were recently displaced. On September 23rd, 2017, there was an incident at a concert where a Lebanese artist who was gay was a frontliner, and an individual dared to raise the rainbow flag at that event. I remember I was interviewing that individual, and he was letting me know the feeling of being nervous and having the rainbow flag in his pocket. And as he was hoisted on his shoulders and displayed the flag, he found a moment of pride and solidarity, and it quickly turned into a pretty violent crackdown on LGBTQ individuals there that continues to this day. It's stories like his that inspire the work that we do. I gotta say that I'm proud to be the steward of this organization, but Rainbow Railroad exists because of networks of 100 volunteers, including the wonderful organization In the Ground right now in Cairo, providing safe spaces for those individuals there, to my fantastic colleagues who please stand, who work tirelessly every day to provide safe haven for individuals. Unfortunately, there's still 72 countries in the world that criminalize same-sex intimacy. Since 2006, we've helped over 400 people find safety, and we do it because, unfortunately, the work continues to need to be done. We received over 1,200 requests last year, helping 200 people, and with the help of the community, we do not accept any government funding, so 100% of our work is done by the support of the community, and with your help, we'll continue to help more people. So Thank you very much.
The second category to celebrate this evening is LGBTQ Positive Business of the Year. Let's welcome the President of the Ontario Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Sadisha, I've been practicing your last name, Ambakahawita? I'm so sorry, you can tell me. And Inspire Awards Treasurer, Michael Kaneva.
I'm Michael Kaneva. I'm the treasurer of the board, and I'm not speaking into the microphone. But we're all treasures, so. Hi everyone, my name is Sadisha Shabrugahawita. Try saying that 5 times fast. And if you want to hear my full name, it's Sadisha Shabrugahawita. So, I am president of the Ontario Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very thrilled to be here to work with Antoine and work with the Inspired Awards. So, really deserving group of people that we are honoring, and as everyone said, everyone's a winner here. So there's no winners and losers, everyone's a winner, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And here, Antoine talked a lot about how we need to support our community in every respect. There are businesses that we have here that unfold our community are part of what makes us, gives us the soul. We have that economic driver, but we also have us. We're here today to celebrate them, so let's get right to it. The 2018 recipient of this category, do we have a box here? Oh, oohs and ahs all around. The recipient will receive, along with a trophy, 2 quarter pages ad spaces from the award sponsor, Pink Play Mags.
As well, they will receive membership into the Ontario Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, which, by the way, is going through a revamp, and we're doing a soft launch right now. If you've seen our web pages, it's coming up. We're excited for the new year, so stay tuned.
Nominated for LGBTQ Positive Business of the Year.
Our first nominee is DJ Dallas. DJ Dallas is celebrating more than 30 years of development and creating inclusive LGBTQ positive events and spaces.
Next, founded by Steve Martin, Corporate Specialty Services is a commercial cleaning company that prides itself on being
Dudley's Hardware, Paint and Decor is the oldest business on Church Street and has a cultural feel with downtown convenience.
And finally, Cold Rock Coffee opened in 2003 in the heart of the LGBTQ community. In 2005, when the store received Central Region Canadian Tourist Award.
Nominations for 2018. Can I have DJ Dallas come to the stage, please? And can I have Corporate Specialty Services come up on the stage, please? And Dudley's Hardware, Paint, Decor. There you are. Come on out. And last but not least, Bulldog Coffee. Where are you? Awesome. Our nominees for 2018.
And I'm supposed to say please, but I already have it. Let me. Sorry, everyone, juggling everything. Let's see who the recipient is. Oh, exciting. Let's see. And the recipient of the award is DJ Dallas.
Well, thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the nominees. Thank you so much. When finally someone was supposedly older than me, know their business. Without all these businesses sticking to it and hanging in there when times are tough and serving our community as our community changes. So thanks to everybody for who works alongside and who struggles and keeps going. I didn't
expect to be here this evening. I expected to be there, but not here, and I love being there. The theme tonight is newcomers, and 32 years ago, I felt like a newcomer when I came to Toronto from, the Far East, Newfoundland, Canada. I came here because it may seem a little weird to say, but here in Canada, 32 years ago, being a young lesbian and being my kind of lesbian I wasn't too welcome in my own province, and there was a whole lot of us who weren't welcome. I came here to Toronto, and all of a sudden, I wasn't only tolerated, I was welcome, people were curious, I made friends, I made a new family, and my family was my gay community. And 32 years ago, I started working in this community and have served this community and love this community. I love keeping us together. I love bringing us our events. I love and have always loved being inclusive as the LGBTQ to SIQ, all of this. As our community grew and expanded and expounded, and we all diversified and we all found pieces of ourselves to be represented, I always and will continue to welcome every single one of you and your family and your friends and our support groups to our dances, to keep us dancing, because dancing and music is universal, to give us a reason to go out for Valentine's, Christmas, New Year's, every occasion, somewhere to go, somewhere we're all going to be, somewhere as we get older, to know we're welcome, we can form new friendships, find old friends, and that's what I'm going to do. I've been doing it for 32 years, and as long as I have your support, I'm going to keep doing it, and I've seen your support tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Value in what we're doing tonight. Everybody, come on, put your hands together. If you see that, we're getting there. We see the value in these awards, the winners, and the stories. There's so many stories to tell. Value all these stories. Thank you so much. And I'm happy that I'm going to, just so you know, I'm going to keep my jacket on. The Inspire Award relies on the community's contribution to carry its mission to celebrate and honor people, businesses, and organizations.
Coming in hot. This year, once again, RBC is on board as co-presenter of the Youth Award. So, to present the RBC LGBTQ Youth of the Year, we welcome to stage from the Inspire Awards Board of Directors, Dave Johnson, and from Royal Bank of Canada, Justin Sherman. Please join them because we have a special treat Inspire Awards, last year's special honorary youth recipient and the youngest recipient of the award. Oh, is Stella coming up too, Stella? There you are. Hi! It feels like a year minus a week since I've seen you. I got shorter, you got taller, haven't you? That's Stella's skin.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Johnson, and I am on the board of directors for the Inspire Award. It's my first year on the board. I was kind of bullied on joining the board, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Last year I was nominated as... Oh, thank you. Last year I was nominated for Person of the Year. And I was hoping that I would be back here to be the recipient this year, but that obviously is not happening. So I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves and then we can get into it.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Justin Sherman. I'm here representing RBC. Again this year we are thrilled to award $1,000 to the recipient. Yes, we will ask you $1,000, but it is meant to be towards education and entrepreneurship. So again, we're thrilled. Congratulations for last year and looking forward to this year's.
Thank you. Last year was very special for me, and I was very honored to receive an award. and I'm happy to be on stage helping to celebrate some very wonderful youth.
Nominated for RBC LGBTQ Youth of the Year.
First we have Adam Lake. Adam Lake leads within the Black LGBTQ community, dismantling barriers which end dilemmas of upward mobility.
They are involved in municipal engagement, youth politics, and is progressive leader of tomorrow.
Tyrone is an 18-year-old, agender, POC volunteer, activist, and Oshawa resident, and past participant in PFLAG's camp, Rainbow Phoenix.
Sylvan Tang, board member of LGBT Youth Line, is a newcomer, Hong Konger, transmasculine, and pug enthusiast.
We have Meha Patel is a 23-year-old social service worker with a focus on working with LGBTQ youth.
This is the plate that they'll receive, and we just want to welcome the recipients to the stage: Adam Lake,
Bree Gardner,
Ty Ho,
Sylvan Tang,
and Meha Patel.
I will add that Adam is unavailable this evening. He's asked that in the event of his win, that we just let him know on his own.
Together one more time for It's now time to celebrate LGBTQ Person of the Year, and to present this category, please welcome from the Board of Directors of Inspire, Neil Herrell.
So hello, my name is Mark Lalonde. I am the Secretary of the Board. I'm very honored to present this category on behalf of Neil. The work of those who make it to be honored, to be nominated as recipients of Person of the Year is very special and important work. They volunteer, they fundraise, they are passionate about the issues that matter, and they are in the community doing the work that needs to be done. And they deserve our applause. They do. The recipients of this category will receive the Inspire Awards trophy. No more blues? Are we done with blues?
Nominated for LGBTQ Person of the Year.
Jill Andrew. Jill Andrew. Body Confidence Canada Awards and the national campaign, #Sizism Sucks.
Yes. James Forrester. James Forrester is a photographer who is passionate in showcasing local talents within our community and bringing everyone together.
Alan Kumpel.
Leonard Benoit. Leonard Benoit works in the Pioneer Arena at Two-Spirit People and First Nations, and has co-hosted the 33rd Annual AIDS Candlelight Vigil at Barbara Hall Park.
Dakarai Chiku Guglu is an inspirational community leader who is passionate about making transformative change in people's lives.
All right, so let's welcome and congratulate the nominees of 2018. So Jill Andrew. And the recipient is Jill Andrew.
behind me, who were also nominated. And I'd like to say congratulations to all of us who are here in this province, in this city right now, who are able to live and love in the skin we are in, who we are, and we're able to do that with relative safety and security compared to many of our loved ones and our allies across the waters. 13 years ago, I came out to my mother, and she was shocked, as many parents are. And for a while, we didn't speak much, but she came around. My partner, Aisha, who is my better half, my wife, my life, she's over here in the stunning blue dress. She deserves to be standing right here next to me. All of the work we do at Body Confidence Canada, the Body Confidence Canada Awards, our faction fundraiser, our Body Love Ball, it's all about helping people live proudly and boldly in the skin that we are in. I'm a Black woman, I am a queer woman, I'm a fat activist, I'm a person who lives with invisible disability, and I am proud to stand here and to say that I count.
Yeah.
It's a big surprise. I didn't write a speech because I didn't expect to be up here. But I just want to say thank you. There are several people in this room who have been part of my own coming out journey, and I really want to say thank you very, very much. But I just want to say thank you so much, and this is mind-boggling, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Dear guests, for a really special and cultural treat, please welcome a belly dancing presentation by Habiba Obega Egyptian Folklore Dance Company. Every year we lose different members of different factions of our community, and if you want to just take a moment the rest of the evening to go by without having that moment, rather sobering but needed to be said, now we'll get through to the rest of the evening. Every year Inspire Award selects a timely theme for a special presentation. This year, with so much talk about immigration, border walls, and travel bans, we wanted to show how Canada stands in the world as a very welcoming country. that embraces the diversity and richness that immigrants and refugees bring. This year's theme is #Embracing Newcomers. And to help with this presentation, please welcome Carleen Williams-Clark, the Manager, Direct Services at the 519.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the board of Inspire Awards for inviting me to make this presentation this evening, embracing newcomers. I myself was a newcomer 8 years ago. I came to Canada from Jamaica, and I came as a refugee. I participated in a program at the 519, started working at the 519 as a volunteer and program coordinator of the Montfort's program, and then I became the manager. That's the job I hold today, my first and only job here in Canada, which I'm very, very proud of. And I do work with a team of people, some of them who are at the back there cheering me on, and I'm just one of those persons who are proud to be a newcomer and proud to be working with newcomers. So I'd like to share a little bit of facts about why Canada is that obvious choice for queer and trans folks to come and just be. There are 72 countries around the world that outlaw homosexual acts between consenting adults. In 27 of these countries, the law applies only to men. In 25 countries, it is forbidden to form, establish, or even register a non-government organization that promotes issues relating to homosexuality, sexual orientation, and LGBTQ rights. Almost 24 other countries have laws aimed at curtailing public expression and promotion of being LGBTQ through social media and other means. So that means no pride, and if there's a pride, tiny and hidden, like in Jamaica, and of course, no inspired moments. So sad. But more seriously, there are 8 countries where persons can be put to death for participating in consensual sexual activity with someone of the same sex. An additional 5 countries have this punishment on their books but don't seem to impose it. In 14+ countries, to engage in sexual activity with the same sex, there's a prison term of 14 years to life for anyone caught in the act. So, let's talk a little bit about Canada now. In 1969, Canada decriminalized homosexual acts between consenting adults, and almost 10 years later, 1997, Quebec included sexual orientation in the Human Rights Code. This makes it the first province in Canada to pass a civil rights law. And this law protected LGBTQ folks to the right to housing, public accommodation, and employment. Other provinces, of course, followed suit after that. In 1978, Canada introduced the new Immigration Act. This meant that people were no longer found inadmissible based on their sexual orientation and gender identities. There are so many stats and dates, good and bad, but I'm sure you get the point that I'm trying to make here, why Canada is that obvious choice, and what's happening around the world, and why we have to welcome newcomers all the time. There's a significant number of people who come to Canada, and they come because they're running for their lives. It's not a choice all the time. They're forced to forget who they have behind, what they've achieved, where they're coming from, and to be in a place, new culture, new everything, and learn to be themselves. And at the 519, we see people like from the Caribbean, from the African continent, Middle East, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, and even South America. not only do we welcome newcomers, but we also have many systems in place to help them. There are organizations and groups that support these newcomers and help them build lives in Canada and provide them with settlement services, legal assistance, ESL classes, and even food, and so much more. Some groups help to bring people to Canada, such as an organization that I'm a proud member of, Rainbow Railroad, and congratulations, Rainbow Railroad, for receiving an award this evening. And there are other organizations that support LGBTQ people who provide them with assistance on a daily basis, such as the 519, ASAP, ACAS, Black Cap, Access Alliance, Women's Health and Women's Hands, Eagle, Five House, just to name a few. So many of us work hard and tirelessly to support our newcomers and our refugees. So I'd just like to thank Inspire Awards for doing this video, giving people a wider vision of who our newcomers are and that there are many faces.
It's an event to say, look where we came. And look how far we have come. I myself is a newcomer. I myself is an immigrant. I came here in 2008. And so next month, June, I'm keeping a big party celebrating my 10 years in Canada. So our stories are beautiful. And it shouldn't make you sad. The story should make you happy and realize that we are here, we are living, we are being, we are becoming, we are growing, we are enhancing, we are just, yeah. Alright? Wonderful. So put your hands together for everyone and the energy in the room and the inspire and just the passion that we all like this provides an opportunity for us. So, since the beginning, Inspire Award has been a non-stop mission to celebrate and to thank as many people in our community, and because it's true, there are many people in our community and allies that do the great work, and we see the work of our newcomers in 519 and those organizations. To find out more about the work and the awards that we do, and for the last 7 years, please remember to visit www.inspireawards.ca. Now let's get back into one more special presentation, and we'll start with the Lux Award, which is presented jointly by a 10x10 photography project and the Inspire Awards. To tell us about the award and the individual chosen to receive it, please welcome to the stage James Fowler, curator of 10x10 Photography Project. Put your hands together for James.
Thank you. We named the Lux Award after a unit of light that is a student slave to a Canadian LGBTQ person who has made a significant contribution to the arts during their lifetime. Tonight, we honor one of those great people. Internationally renowned Canadian artist Steve Walker's earliest memories of childhood involved drawing. He remembered drawing pictures about the age of 3 or 4 years old. Drawing came naturally to the Toronto artist, and his love of the art form continued into his adulthood. As a self-taught artist, Walker began painting after a trip to Europe when he was 25 years old. During the trip, he spent much of his time in Europe touring the great galleries and museums. In his words, it was the first time he was exposed to great painting, and the first time he recognized the potential power of the art form. I was moved by something that I was capable of doing, he said. His first paintings were done in a somewhat secretive way. He had no intention of exhibiting or ever selling, and had no aspirations of becoming a professional artist. Producing art about his life and the lives around him became natural to Walker, and his first childhood drawings. As a gay man, Walker was acutely aware that he was living during a period of history that was both the best of times and the worst of times. There was more freedom and acceptance for gay men and women, while at the same time AIDS had devastated the gay population. He described his art as being about love, hate, pain, joy, touch, communication, beauty, loneliness, attraction, hope, despair, life, and death. His art included universal themes regardless of race, gender, socioeconomic, class, culture, or sexual orientation. However, his work is unique because it conveyed these themes through the subject of his paintings, young gay men. Steve Walker died unexpectedly in his home in Costa Rica on January 4th, 2014. Stephen, we thank you and we honor you. To accept this award on behalf of Steve Walker, please welcome Stephen's lifelong friend, Fawn Sharon.
I'm very honored to accept this award on Steve's behalf. Steve's family and his friends miss him dearly, but we continue to be inspired by how committed he was to his work and by his courage in choosing a life in the arts. If Steve were here tonight, by some miracle, he'd be very thrilled, very humbled, but mostly he would be eager to meet as many people as possible and to learn a little bit about your lives and to share a lot of laughs with you. So thank you for this tribute to Steve and to his work.
All right, here we go. And now I'm reading this. Can you read that? No. Now on to another special category to present the award for TELUS LGBTQ Innovator of the Year. Please welcome Adam Fernandez and Jeff Logan.
Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you very much, Deb. So, on behalf of TELUS, we are proud to join all of you this evening for the 2018 Inspire Awards. As a member of the science and technology sector, where the LGBTQA communities are often less visible, we chose to partner with the Inspire Awards to present the TELUS LGBTQ Innovator of the Year Award. This award honors an individual for their achievement to promote diversity and inclusiveness, improve lives, and raise awareness about LGBTQ issues.
The recipient of the 2018 TELUS LGBTQ Innovator of the Year Award is Scott Stewart. Scott is the founder and CEO of Venture for Canada, a not-for-profit that recruits, trains, and supports youth to work at Canadian startups with a mission of fostering entrepreneurship. In 4 years, he and his team have built VFC into an organization that supports hundreds of youths and has raised over $5 million in funding. Previously, Scott worked on a cross-product client experience team at Goldman Sachs in New York City. He is a graduate of Georgetown University's Edmund A. Walsh School of Foreign Service. At Georgetown, he was a weekly columnist for The Hoya, Georgetown's newspaper of the record, and interned at the Council of Foreign Relations. Scott has contributed to or been featured in the Globe and Mail, the National Post, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the Washington Post, Forbes, and the Chronicle Herald. Scott, please join us on the stage to receive your award.
There's a lot that's an organization's name says about its work, and I love that the word inspire is in the word inspire, is in the name Inspire Awards. If there's one message that I have for LGBT young people, it's to always believe in yourself and believe in your capacity to do great things, particularly even in the spite of stacked odds or daily marginalization. I'd like to give a special thank you to my parents, and in particular to my mother who's here tonight, who every single night for probably 10 years, before I went to bed, she would give me the question, what's the most important thing in the world? And as kind of clockwork, my response would be to believe in yourself. And I think that that's such an important message for LGBT youth, especially in the face of many challenges. I'd also like to give a special thank you to my partner David for his constant support through the often rocky road of entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for this recognition, and have a great night. Thanks.
It's the end of the Charles Roy Award for Activism in HIV/AIDS. Please welcome. So put your hands together for Louise and Enrica Magdalena.
So, good evening. Again, my name is Luis Mitrokopoulos, and I'm the chair of ACT's Boards of Directors, and I'm very excited to be here to present this award tonight. A few words about the award. So, the Charles Roy Award for Activism in HIV and AIDS was named after Charles M. Roy, who was the former executive director of ACT. So Charles made significant contributions and advancements in the fight against HIV locally, nationally, and internationally during his lifetime. Sadly, Charles passed away of HIV-related complications in 2002. Since the founding of this award, some very wonderful and remarkable individuals have been the recipients of this award, and this year they are joined by the very, very deserving Keith Hamlin. So Keith held the role of Executive Director of Five House, a leading housing and support services agency in Toronto, servicing HIV-positive women, men, and families. In his 11 years at Five House, Keith and his leadership team expanded the housing options by a remarkable 40% to include homeless people living with HIV, as well as mental health and active substance use issues, as well as those aging and facing complex needs. In 2016, Keith was a guest lecturer at the International AIDS Conference in Durban in South Africa. In the last year, Keith left Five House to take on the role of Vice President of Programs and Services at Fred Victor, one of the largest non-for-profit multi-service organizations in Toronto. Keith currently serves as a board member of the Ontario HIV Treatment Network and is a member of the Toronto Central Medi-East Health Link, and has served on various local, provincial, and national housing and HIV committees, including being the past president of the Ontario Non-Profit Housing Association. Keith is also the recipient of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal recognizing his work within the non-profit housing sector. To accept his Charles Roy Award for activism in HIV and AIDS, please welcome Keith Hamlin.
Thank you so much, Luis, and thank you, Antoine and Mark and the board and volunteers at the Inspire Awards Group. I am truly, truly humbled to be this year's recipient of the Charles Roy Award. I am so honored with an award named after such a trailblazing, committed community leader and activist. It's truly, as they say, inspiring. But this, yeah, I know that's been overused a lot. But this award really recognizes the dedicated and passionate work of the staff, peers, and volunteers of Five House. Some of whom are in the room, I can't see them here, but I know they're back there. Please give them a round of applause. For 30 years, Five House has housed, supported, and mentored hundreds and hundreds of HIV-positive women, men, and families in the city of Toronto. Fife's inspiring leadership within the HIV and broader housing and social service community has led it to be recognized locally, nationally, and internationally as a community leader. This year, Fife looks forward to opening a new, innovative housing model at the former Casey House Hospice. This innovative project, incorporating not only housing, community health, and clinical services, will be the first of its kind in this province, and I'm so proud that I was part of the early part of that project, and it's carrying forward with our new executive director, Michael Blair, who's in the back there somewhere. This will be an amazing project that will be recognized, I know, in the future. And it seems to be a bit of a theme here tonight as well. In addition to acknowledging my former colleagues at Fife, I do want to thank and acknowledge my partner, Scott. Far too often, our spouses and partners are not thanked and recognized for the sacrifices and the hidden contributions that they made in making the queer and HIV communities a strong and vibrant community, not only in this city, but in this province and in this nation. But I just want to thank Scott and thank all of you and the board and the volunteers at the Inspire group. Thank you so much, and enjoy the evening.
Deb Pierce, an event like the Inspire Awards doesn't happen without the help of many, many, many generous organizations and people. So we need to thank them, but please hold your applause to the very end so we can keep rolling on time, because we're doing great for time, by the way. And please join me in welcoming to the stage, he does this every year, Secretary of the Inspire Awards, Mark Lalonde.
Inspire Awards is a non-for-profit organization. It takes a lot of wonderful supporters to make this evening happen. The Inspire Awards is presented by Pink Play Mags, the Pink Pages Directory, Pride Toronto, AIDS Committee of Toronto, Spearhead, Community One Foundation, Ontario Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Fife House, the Imperial Court of Toronto, Toronto Trans Alliance, and is supported by Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation US, the LAD. On behalf of our community partners, we would like to thank those who support the annual celebration and of our community with generous and incredible generosity. A big thank you goes to luminary sponsor, Royal Bank of Canada, diamond sponsor, TD Bank, platinum sponsor, TELUS, gold sponsors, Campbell Roy and Eldridge Insurance, Mike Music Machine, Jerry Herzog Law Offices, Core Design Services, Sam Strategias Consulting. Silver sponsors, Midtown Dental Clinic, Ace Awards Incorporated, Newly Florist. Media partner, Rogers TV. Media sponsor, Inspire Media Incorporated. Award sponsor, Ontario Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Pink Play Mags. Supporters, One King West Hotel and Residence, Oliver Bonacini Canteen, Pride Toronto, Healthy Planet, Clarina Nails, Mikey Sim Studios, Itronics, I Associates of Don Mills, Ripley's Aquarium of Canada, CJ Tremere, Robbie Craig, Nancy Don Clement, Yuri Yushev, Vida Perita, Teresa Albino, Ana Paula Leandro, hairstyling by Gary Allen. VID Lounge wine sponsor, Caroline, Cellars Winery. Honourees, board directories, and jury flowers were provided by Newly Florist. Travel arrangements arranged by Total Advantage Travel. Photography, Archangel Design.ca. Videography, Davina Hader and Aaron Brennan. Okay, almost there. We are always blessed at Inspire Awards to have a wonderful lineup of community hosts and entertainers every year. So this year we are thrilled to have, and we thank our ceremony hosts, Deb Pierce and Andrew Campbell. All right, I'll let you applause at my time. Zip it, it's gonna go on forever. Garden party hosts, Anastasia and Nakpari. Performances, Windworks by Counterport Orchestra. Lovely. Aqua, Habiba Hobeka Egyptian Folklore Dance Company, Samba Squad, Citizen Jane, Corey Stewart, Magic Dan. Our traditional welcome, Elder Spirit, Maybella King Reynolds. And our special 11:20 show performance by Tashika Loban. And in our garden party, DJ Summation. Okay, thank you to Park House for all your help and putting this evening together. Of course, a great big thank you from our board of directors to our events planning committee, our marketing and communications committee, our nominations and procedures committee, our jury panel, and all our amazing volunteers for your incredible hard work to put this inspiring event together. And I'm just going to put a little note here, looking ahead to 2019, because that's what secretaries do. We're always looking and welcome new members to our team. So if this interests you and you want to feel the love, please come and contact us. You can email us or come speak with any of us. And a heartfelt congratulations to all the recipients and the nominees. And start thinking about those nominations. 2019 is just around the corner, so there are lots of people who need these things. And last but not least, thank you and you and you and you and all of you for being here and for your support throughout the year. Done. Thank you.
Moving right on now to the Lifetime Achievement Awards, and we'd like to welcome to the stage the Vice President of the Inspire Awards, Lorenzo Paganuta, and a past Lifetime Award recipient, James Dubrow. Put them together for Lorenzo and James.
So, along with their trophies, the recipients of Lifetime Achievement and International Icon Awards will receive the 49 Coffee Table book, tribute to Pulse Orlando, which Antoine mentioned earlier on in the evening. Mikael Hall got his start working right here in Toronto at El Convento Eco and has been a DJ, promoter, entertaining the LGBTQ masses for more than 25 years.
Mikael has been on TV, radio, and magazines and newspapers like the Globe and Mail, the Toronto Star, Along with Toronto and Montreal, he has also DJed Prides in Washington, Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, Jamaica, and New York City, and is looking forward to Guyana and UK Black Pride. You want it, he can play it. This Toronto native is of Jamaican descent and knows his way all around all kinds of music, such as dancehall, hip-hop, R&B, soca, and his first love, house music.
Along with spinning for many ongoing parties over the years, he also has his own regular monthly party in Toronto called Go Hard, and has started a new night recently called OVA. He is also the co-owner of the highly anticipated annual Miss Opulence drag pageant. The Black Cat never sleeps, and neither will you if you're at one of his functions and dare to cross his path.
Congratulations to Michael on this very deserved honor. Come on up, Michael, and see you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's a good evening indeed. So I started this 25 years ago. And when I started 25 years ago, I was spinning house music. I started spinning house music. That's my love. That's what I do. And then two people, Douglas and Jill, came across one of my cassette tapes. I did say cassette. And they asked me if I wanted to bring it to Church Street, bring it to the clubs. And I was nervous. I had never DJed outside of my house before, but I did it, and it went very well for me. Black Cat became a staple in the community, and it kind of took a life of its own. Now, 25 years later, there isn't a club that doesn't play R&B, hip-hop, soca, dancehall. You can hear it anywhere, at any time, and back then that wasn't the case. So I like to believe that I had a little bit of a say and a little bit of a push in that, but I didn't do it on my own. And so in the last couple of minutes, I want to just read off some names, because without them, I wouldn't be standing here, and more. I can't read everybody, it's been 25 years. But I need to acknowledge them because I believe that people need to be acknowledged for their work, and I need them to know that I appreciate them in whatever capacity they were in my life. So I'm going to do this quickly. First of all, I want to thank the Inspire Awards. I want to thank you guys for thinking of me, because when I got the phone call, it really, really made me sit down, and I cried, and I was emotional about it. It was a moment for me, so thank you. I thank Jehovah, because without him, I wouldn't be standing here. My mom and dad, for their support all the time, even when they decided they weren't going to speak to me for a long time because I came out and told them I was gay. They still had my back, and I knew it. My brothers and sisters, because family's important to me, the most important thing. My first boyfriend, Oswald Clark, I want to thank him because he's the one that taught me about gay life, taught me about everything that I know right now when it deals with relationships, when it deals with dealing with people in this community. Joe Belanger, Douglas, Silroy, my team, Sandra, Nadine, Danger, Cassidy, Drebe, Tai-Shai, Chris Cushman, Pleasure. And those people right there, I wouldn't be able to do what I do weekly, monthly, without them looking for me, keeping me on a level playing field when I want to jump off of things. I thank them very much. The club owners, because it's very hard to get clubs for the Black LGBT community for a long time. When we first started, we were doing parties inside churches, in church basements, trying to get in and get out without being seen. It was a lot of drama, it was a lot of stuff. So I want to thank, in particular, Carl and Anna at Harlem Lounge, and I want to thank Todd and Mandy at Club 120. My Noir kids, I have a family and I call them Noir. I want to thank my kids because they also send me in the right path, and I help them and they help me, and they're my family in the community. These are my mentors. These are people that I speak about highly and I think about, and without them, my heart would be empty. Angela Robinson, Douglas Stewart, Courtney McFarlane, Junior Harrison, Dr. Andrew Campbell. Von Allure, Mike Hugh, King of Day. Blackness, yes, my friend Sean Byfield. There's just a few people in my life, but they're very important to me, and I thank you. And I just want to say one more thing. People, everybody that's on this planet, all they want to do is be seen, heard, and know that they're valued. That's it. They want to be seen, heard, and know that they're valued. And you guys have shown me that you value me tonight, and I thank you.
Our second Lifetime Achievement Award recipient is Savoy Howe. And to help me hand out this award, I would like to invite to the stage another past recipient of this category, Anna Williams. Whoa! Savoy Kapow Howe is the head coach and owner of Toronto News Girls, Canada's first female and trans-positive boxing club.
Savoy started boxing in 1992 at the Toronto Newsboys Boxing Club and went on to fight one of Toronto's first sanctioned boxing bouts for women in 1993. In 1996, the Toronto Newsgirls Club was born. Savoy is originally from New Brunswick and holds a theatre degree from McMaster University, and she has spent over 30 years pounding the pavement as a performer. Her most recent show, Newsgirl, a one-woman show developed at Solo Theatre, recounted the history of the Toronto Newsgirls and of one woman's journey into the male-dominated sport of boxing. In 1994, Savoy rollerbladed 1,600 kilometers around central Ontario as part of Blade for AIDS, an AIDS awareness campaign.
She has been involved in numerous campaigns as an activist, including having Rouge 5, an American pickup artist, cancel his Toronto Return of the King's neo-masculinity workshops after women in boxing gloves were preparing to show up. The Newsgirls have also had a traveling boxing ring in the Dyke March for over 10 years. Aside from recreational boxing, and a recreational boxing program and an amateur program, Savoy runs Outside the Ring, which is a free boxing program for the LGBTQ and Indigenous communities, new Canadians, and people with mobility issues.
And we've just begun. We could go on for half an hour about all the amazing contributions that Savoy Howe has made to our community, but we won't. We just want to say congratulations, Savoy. You are incredibly deserving of this award. Come on up here.
Thank you so much. Wow. I was at this event 2 years ago, and I'm like, that is one fancy shit event. Never expecting to be up here. It is an absolute honor to receive this, and I thank the Inspire Committee and all of you for being here to celebrate all the people who won awards tonight. What can I say? I love my job. I got the best job in the world. I get to teach all genders how to box, use heavy bags, hit stuff. Our gym is set up like a 3,500 square foot playground for hitting things. And originally, 27 years ago, we started as a gym that provided a safe space for women. But it wasn't that long after that we realized that we needed to provide a safe space to all genders. And I think in 2010 we came up with first trans policy for a boxing gym in Canada, and probably the only to this day. we're working on it, we're working on it. We have had so many communities come to our gym, and I've met so many amazing people. I could go on. And I thank everybody who has financially kept us alive for 26 years. Boxing business, not a money-making business. Thank God it's a passionate business. And I'd really like to also thank my beautiful partner, who is one of the most amazing humans in this whole world to me. And the two of us took a busload of women, 54 women down to the March on Washington. And in the middle of the march, Tracy runs solo theater. She produced the show as well. And we took a busload down to Washington, and in the middle of 600,000 women, I turned to her and offered her a ring and said, "Will you be mine?" And yeah, I really hope that shortly Tracy will be my wife, because she's one of the most amazing people. Thank you all so much. I love this community. I will serve this community until I kick the bucket. And I'm going to set up News Girls so that even after me, it will continue and run all the amazing programs that, I don't know, we all get to benefit from. So thank you so much.
So, this year we looked at the nominees and were so impressed by the work that they had done that we decided that we would award 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards instead of our usual 2. Because the work of these 3 we are celebrating tonight covers such a wide spectrum, as you can see. So I would like to invite my colleague Mark Lalonde again onto the stage to help me give another award out to another very special individual. So for over 30 years, Dave Hinsberger has advocated for people with intellectual disabilities to have the right to experience intimacy, relationships, and sexuality. He wrote one of the first articles ever published regarding the rights of people with intellectual disabilities to have and express an LGBT+ identity, and spoke at conferences, often facing fierce opposition regarding the legitimacy of sexuality for people with disabilities.
The history of people with disabilities includes brutal treatment for being sexual, sterilization, contingent electric shock. Dave is one of the voices that called for change. Dave has fought against the idea that people with intellectual disabilities did not experience adulthood and that their sexuality needed to be controlled or eliminated. In an era where service providers typically had policies forbidding people with disabilities from relationships, intimacy, and sexuality, Dave advocated for people with disabilities to be seen as fully human with fully human needs.
Dave wrote and produced video sex education programs such as Handmade Love, a guide to teaching men with intellectual disabilities about masturbation, and Fingertips, a similar book and video set for women. His work is now seen as groundbreaking and has often been honored by the human services sector.
Congratulations, Dave. It is an honor to celebrate you tonight. So please come on over here and join us.
Thank you. My fellow who is sitting down is Joe, my husband, and we have been together as of next year 50 years. And that's a nice thing for you to applaud, but I want you to understand that 50 years ago it was very different. Our relationship was vilified, and our love was held suspect. And we lived in silence, and we lived in secrecy. And then I stepped into human services, and I saw the treatment of people with intellectual disabilities, people who are seen less than everybody else. And what I really saw was what happened when tyranny weaponized disapproval. Because what happened to people with disabilities regarding their sexuality is simply unconscionable. We used torture as best practice. We took cattle prods and burned their skin. We shot lemon juice into their mouth. I met a little girl of 8 years old who had Down syndrome, and in order to stop her from masturbating, the therapist had said that they should shoot lemon juice in her mouth every time she touched the lower waist. She had scars down both sides of her mouth. People with intellectual disabilities have never been seen as truly human. People with intellectual disabilities have never been seen as truly adult. And people with intellectual disabilities have never been seen as being capable of loving and loving other people. And you know, in my work with people with intellectual disabilities and the journey that we have had, we have seen remarkable progress. But we still live in an era where the civil liberties of people with intellectual disabilities are not governed by law. They are governed by boards of directors of agencies. And from 1 mile to another, a person with a disability can lose all their civil liberties simply because of the disapproval of others. When we first began the journey, and I started speaking out about the rights of people with disabilities to be simply sexual beings, and that they had both genitals and heart, I faced fierce opposition. The books I wrote were burned. I was called a pornographer. I was banned from speaking in the state of Oregon and received death threats in Canada. But I'll tell you this, I'm different, and I know I'm different. I'm fat, I'm gay, I'm disabled, and the experience of difference is a wonderful thing because it gives us a wellspring. It gives us a wellspring of anger, and it gives us a wellspring of hope, and it gives us a wellspring of justice. And if we use our difference properly, we will use our voices well. And we have the responsibility, each one of us, to use the voices that we were given, to discover what difference means to us, to discover what we have faced as human beings, and understand that it's not okay. It's not okay for people to live in spaces where they are not safe. It is not okay for people with disabilities to be judged differently simply because they live and move in the world in different ways. We need to understand that the gay community, the LGBT community, is a very large community, and people with disabilities are members of that community. People with disabilities have a right to membership in this community. I so often sit at the intersection of disability and sexuality and watch the parade go by because there's no cut curve. So we said that this was to be a celebration of inspiration, and it has been. I have been inspired by what I've heard here today. But I want you to be inspired as well, because single voices matter. We can say and create spaces around us where people are safe, all people, and that's ultimately our responsibility. Thank you so much for the award, because I believe it is more recognizing disability.
It's the final big award. We made it. We're here. It's happening. Yep, there's drinking to be done. The final award is, oh wow, he's been sitting in the front all night long. He came to me years ago with this idea. If the word community comes out of his mouth once an hour, it comes out 20 times an hour. This man is all about community. Let's give a nice warm welcome to Antoine Al-Hashim.
We have arrived at the last award of the night, the International Icon Award. Over the last few years, we have had some amazing out-of-town guests and heroes join us here in Toronto, and tonight we have Darnell Moore. I'm gonna have to try to read this because there's a lot of information. Amongst a very long list of accomplishments, Darnell L. Moore is editor-at-large at Cassius, an I1 digital platform, and formerly a senior at MIC. He is co-managing editor and senior editor of the Feminist Choir and an editor of the Feminist Choir Books, a series of University of Arizona Press. Along with NFL player Wade Davis II, he co-founded You Belong, a social good company focused on the development of diversity initiatives. Darnell's advocacy centers on marginal identity, youth development, and other social justice issues in the USA and abroad. He has led and participated in several critical dialogues, including the 58th session of the UN Commission on the Status of Women, the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington National Panel on Race, Discrimination and Poverty, the 2012 Seminar on Debates on Religion and Sexuality at Harvard Divinity School, and as a member of the first U.S. delegation of LGBTQ leaders to Palestine in 2012. A prolific writer, Darnell has been published in various media outlets including MSNBC, The Guardian, Huffington Post, Ebony, The Advocate, Out Magazine, Gawker, Vice, and others, as well as numerous academic journals. Darnell has held positions of visiting fellow and visiting scholar at Yale Divinity School, the Center for the Study of Gender and Sexuality at New York University, and the Institute for Research in African American Studies at Columbia University. Darnell received the 2012 Humanitarian Award from the American Conference on Diversity. Sorry, I'm still crying over David's speech. Sorry. For advocacy in the city of New York, where he served as chair of the LGBT Concerns Advisory Commission. He is the recipient of the 2012 Outstanding Academic Leadership Award from Rutgers University LGBTQ and Diversity Resource Center for his contributions to developing the Queer Newark Oral History Project. He received the 2013 Angel Award from Gay Men of African Descent and the 2014 Gentleman of the Year Award from the Gentleman's Foundation. He was listed as one of Planned Parenthood's top 99 Greenkeepers in 2015, was featured in USA Today in their Own Words multimedia feature on contemporary civil rights activists, was named among Ebony's Magazine's 2015 Power 100, Time Out New York's 8 LGBT influencers, The Modern Man 100, and the Route 100 in 2016. He assisted in organizing the Black Lives Matter's Ride to Ferguson in the wake of Mike Brown's tragic murder, and along with Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi, Black Lives Matter co-founders, developed the infrastructure for the BLM network. He will soon be completing his first book, No Ashes in the Fire. And this happens to just be the shortlist. Dear guests, please help me invite our International Icon Award recipient, Darnell Moore.
I'm really, really honored and humbled and moved. Not only because of the honor, but because of all that I've witnessed today. What I'm witnessing right now, the love in this space is truly remarkable. So kudos to Inspire Awards, the board, and all of the organizations who work to put this together. We have so much to learn from what you're doing here, and I would love to give you a round of applause. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Please, God. One of the board members, thank you so much for thinking that what I've been able to do is worth recognizing. that I'll say, and I want to be very quick because I'm a guest, and I'm more interested in hearing from you and learning from you and being inspired from you. David, thank you so much for your words. I'm walking back home, going back home, moved and inspired to think differently and to be different. What I will say about embracing newcomers is a lesson that someone like myself, who hails from Brooklyn, New York, the United States, a settler colonial country, who's right now, we are under the watch of an administration who knows nothing about the notion of embracing newcomers. But our country has a history of disregarding this notion of embrace, partially because it's impossible to embrace newcomers when you can't acknowledge that the people whose land we have existed on, the home of the people, has always been theirs. The newcomers, namely us and those in Washington, have yet to acknowledge that fact. So I appreciate you reminding us of that. The other thing I know about embracing newcomers is this. We can't really welcome newcomers if we are resistant to acknowledging the borders within ourselves, the barriers within ourselves. And we have a lot of work to do, not just in the United States, but around the world. And part of what I know is this. I always say that so many of us are able to acknowledge and name the feet who's situated on our necks, the ways that we are oppressed, but the work that we are unable to do, or unwilling sometimes, is a harder work, and a more radical work of acknowledging the necks, our feet, if we can situate them, are often on other people's necks. And this is what I've learned traveling around the world, being in a community with people and learning from them, that many of the folk whose lives really are touched by so much of what we talked about here aren't in this room. They aren't in a lot of the rooms where so many of the comfortable sit. So many of us come with relative privilege and safety. And whether I've been in Palestine, or Cape Town, and Guletu, or Mexico, or the UK, wherever I've been, it's been clear to me that so many of the folk whose lives have been multiply impacted often aren't in spaces like this. And I have to be reminded of my need to be in spaces with them. So I want to leave, but I will say this. It's interesting that I'm getting an award that's international. I was like, what is an international icon? And I don't know if that's I don't know if I can even carry it. That's a hefty label that I don't know if I can sort of carry. But the funny story, I was just coming from Bermuda, and I actually got dressed in the bathroom here because my flight was delayed. And in Bermuda, I was there talking about my book, which is actually out on Tuesday. It's called No Ashes to Fire, Coming of Age Black and Free in America. And I was remembering when I got to Bermuda the first time I visited, I was on a radio station and I was talking about human rights and LGBTQ equality. And after I got out of my interview, 2 people were waiting for me outside of the radio station after having heard me. And they wouldn't let me get back to the car. They were cussing me out because of what I had said. And I remember holding peace and not cussing back because I come from the type of space, you know, like, you rolled up to the radio station, I might have to take my shirt off and, you know, catch you in the parking lot. But that day I listened. I mean, some things were said to me. The person actually said that I was a curse to my mother's womb. A gay black man was a curse to his black mother's womb. What she didn't know is that the reason I am able to stand and be in my skin, able to stand before you and be in my skin, and acknowledge and accepting who I am is because of my black mama who loves the hell out of me. Part of the reason why I share that story is because so much of our global, expansive political understandings of the world is so often grounded in the local. And I come to view the world that I do, and I come to believe in liberation for all of us, especially those of us who exist on the edges of the margins because of the people I come from. The people I come from. And I'm looking around, and I'm looking at all of you and what you're doing in Toronto, and I'm so moved. Because it's this type of work, the type of hard work, the type of work that allows us to challenge ourselves and to undo the sort of barriers and borders, the weapons and monsters that exist within us, that allows us to build a community that can become global. And that's what you all are doing. I'm carrying that home with me and I'm inspired. Thank you so much for this honor.
What a great night. What a beautiful night. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for everybody contributing in a small, medium, and large way to the community that we live in and serve in and love in. What a night. What an honor to MC this again for, I don't know how many times I've done, doesn't matter. I love it, and you're amazing. And thank you all for being here at the 8th Annual Inspire Awards. We're going to party. We're going to drink. We're going to cool down. We're going to go pee. And we're going to party. So join us in the garden for some dancing with DJ Summation. Grab some refreshment. 20 performance by the fabulous Tashika Levin. Get ready for the exciting audience participation in what we are calling the final number with Tashika and Anastasia. Thank you. And dancers. And it will be spectacular. I promise. Don't miss it. Here's Andrew. You are
Thank you so much. And it is a delight to work with you. Come on, put your hands together for Jen. Thank you so much. You know what? My final word is, I want to say thank you. You know, when you get to host a show, you get to dress up. I like dressing up. And you get to make sure you patch your nose and make sure you're not shining for the camera and all this good stuff. But what is more important is when I walk away from an event and I am inspired. The 3 lifetime awardees and the international icon. And after you spoke, each of you, every single one of you, you inspired me. I sat there and I just was like, wow. Sometimes we see each other and you think we're okay and we're fabulous. We're fabulous. I am fabulous. But life is a journey. And somebody said to me, I'm working on a book, and somebody said to me the other day, I feel like I'm coming out again. And for those of you who don't understand, somebody like me who lives my life loud and out and proud in Toronto. When I go to visit my mom in Jamaica, I still live my life, but I have to edit. I have to edit my life because I'm going home into a different space. I want you to understand what it feels like to be inspired. And I'm so inspired by all of you tonight, and thank you. And so this is a moment for Caribbean people, Jamaican people on YouTube. Andrew Campbell is out, proud. I love myself, I love me, and I'm doing me, and I'm going to become even a better, a bigger, a bolder, a more fabulous me. So, thank you, Inspired, for having me. It's been a wonderful night. Enjoy the food, enjoy the fellowship, enjoy the fun. Thank you so much. Now we move to the garden for the rest of the night.
All right, now for a special treat, let's cheer for the Samba Squad who will lead us into the dance party. Where are they? Where's that Samba Squad? Here they come.
So honored to be celebrating so many community leaders who continually elevate us to a new level by choosing to go high. So this is dedicated to all of you. Thank you so much. All right, here we go.
Shut you in. How do you start again? Some people make you feel so small, but you ain't beautiful. 'Cause when they go low, we go higher. Till we're standing at the edge of the sky. When they go cold, we find light. We get up and learn to fly. And we all die. You've been
turn to in the night. A reckless fool, insomniac who never gets it right. I wouldn't want me either. A drunk in plain sight. I'll wait through heartache. Someone's bound to take the bait, and if they don't, I will live on. Insomniac who never gets it right. I wouldn't want me either. A drunk in plain sight. Heartless, cold, wounded, leaves you lonely in the night. Woo! Why are you guys dancing? A drunk in plain sight. Alright guys, I want to see some dancing. Da-da-dee, da-da-da, da-da-dee, da-da-da. A reckless fool, insomniac who never gets it right. I wouldn't want me either. A drunk in plain sight. Heartless, cold, wounded, leaves you lonely in the night.
Are you ready to dance? Are you ready to get down? Okay.